Labour says it backs drivers. Oh, it's not going to get rid of ULEZ. It's not going to scrap the 20-mile-per-hour zones. I'd say that their anti-car zones tell a very different story. But apparently they say there's no such thing as a war on motorists. Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander insisted in a speech last night that no serious person thinks that tradesmen are being asked to swap their van for a bus. Really? You want to speak to a white van man in the outskirts of London now dealing with ULEZ and ask him for his opinion? She said that she's focused on real problems, not invented ones. Well, let's speak to Steve Berry, who's a former Top Gear presenter. Steve, honestly, I actually hate owning a car. I actively hate owning a car in London. You can't park it. You pay through the teeth for everything. You're getting out of London's like walking through or driving through a minefield. You never know which camera's going to go off. You've got all the sort of yellow, crosshatch markings and the crazy drivers from other countries who don't seem to sort of understand what letting in a vehicle to prevent a pilot might look like. It's an absolute blimmin' disaster. Labour hate cars, don't they? Let's be real about this.
Yeah, I watched, well, I've lived in London and tried for 7 years and tried to drive a car and just gave up. It just gave up in the end. And that's me. I'm a motoring journalist. I've been a motoring journalist. I just gave up. But I was watching The Ipcress File with Sir Michael Caine, one of the greatest British films of the 60s. And his boss calls him in and he has to go to Admiralty Arch. And he just gets in his Ford Cortina outside his house, drives to Admiralty Arch, parks, gets out, doesn't even lock it. And I don't think the filmmakers thought anything of it when they made that little scene. But it almost made me weep for how easy it was to drive. I mean, I live in Manchester now, in the city centre. And like you said, I heard you earlier saying, you just don't bother driving in the city. I don't bother driving in Manchester. I cycle because it's just been deliberately, and it is deliberately, it's just been deliberately made so difficult that they just drive you, if you'll pardon the expression, to despair, in the hope that you'll give up.
I mean, I quite frankly have given up, and if I don't give up, I'm pretty sure they're going to force me to, because I'll end up with 12 points on my licence because I keep getting caught in these 20-mile-per-hour zones. Steve, I'm pretty sure, right, and correct me if I'm wrong, when I try and put the speed limiter on my car, because I've now got, a slew of points on my licence, not doing anything reckless or wild, just, I don't know, having the audacity of driving in and out of borough of London, I am so cautious. I am so cautious now when I drive, and yet it seems quite impossible to actually regulate speed at 20 miles per hour. I don't think modern engines are capable of doing it.
Well, you know what they're getting us ready for, don't you?
What?
Autonomous cars.
Oh, God.
They're getting us to the point where we're so annoyed that we just think, okay, do you know what? I can't be bothered driving. Driving was a joy. Alex, I know I don't look it, but I'm 60, right? I started driving over 40 years ago, and it was a pleasure and a delight to drive back then. It was a joy and a privilege, and it wasn't that expensive. I'm so old, the first motor vehicle, admittedly it was a moped, that I had to fill up with fuel. I'll never forget this. I had to push it to the station because it had no fuel in it, and it cost me 74 pence to fill the tank brim full. Blimey. But of course, that vehicle that I used was a moped, and it had pedals and an engine, but it also had a number plate. Unlike the plague of mopeds, which is what they are, they're motorcycles, they're not cycles, that infest every British city, where people are just scooting along on a vehicle that's unregistered. And there's nothing the government dislike more than an unregistered vehicle, because it means that they can't send out the taxes, which is what they are, to the person who's registered with that identification. Well, like prisoners, a registration plate now on a vehicle is like the prison number that they make you hold up and have on your orange overalls. That's what it is. Do you know what I got busted for? I just got busted for, and no speed limiter could do this for you, for going in a bus lane. And it's a notorious bus lane in Manchester at Middleton that catches so many people out because, for some reason, and I can't imagine why, it's not the inside lane that's the bus lane, it's the outside lane. So you come out of the roundabout, you see a bus lane sign, you pull into the inside lane, you pull into the outside lane, they've got you. Because it's the outside lane that's the bus lane. And is that why?
They
Is
do
it
it
deliberate?
deliberately. They want to catch you. They want to vilify motorists. They think that we're all there to basically pay money into the system. It's a stealth tax. Steve, thank you ever so much. I'm glad someone else shares my despair when it comes to driving. It's absolutely nightmarish.